Welcome to the first officially titled Mock Draft Wednesday. First or second edition of four, as we are only 15 days away from the NFL draft, which is crazy. It's gonna be like Christmas. And with the first pick of this second Mock Draft Wednesday, Caleb Williams. It's the pick. It's been like 3 weeks, and I meant there's no debate that it's Caleb, but I want to talk about I haven't seen these posted a while, maybe a couple weeks, few weeks honestly, maybe even a month. That Caleb Williams, it's like a post that says who's the better prospects or rank the prospects. It'll be Trevor Lawrence, Peyton Manning, John Elway, Andrew Luck, and Caleb Williams. And I just don't. Caleb Williams is dead last. It's not even close. You're talking about the four greatest prospects of all time in terms of QB. I think Caleb Williams is a tier below that. They're all S tier. He's A tier. And it's not trying to hate. I just think there's problems with Caleb Williams, and a lot of those guys did not have a lot of problems. I think Caleb Williams kind of struggles under pressure while he's in the pocket. His ability to get out of the pocket is second to none out of any quarterback prospect ever. His improvisation is elite. But there's no problem that Caleb Williams has unless he does something horrific will make him not the number one pick. Uh, Usually I try to do these mock drafts as like what I would do more than what the team would do or I think they do, unless there's a heavy rumor. And Jaden Daniels going to the Commanders is at this point seems some sources have said it's confirmed. And is it a smokescreen? Maybe, but was picking the second overall pick, and basically you're gonna have your choice. I don't know if a smokescreen, how much of a smokescreen that would even be, but I would draft Drake May because I think Drake May is closer to Caleb Williams than Jaden Daniels is closer to Drake May. I think Jaden Daniels has some concerns with throwing in the middle of the field. He did not do that like at all at LSU. Is that because of the offense? Maybe with Brian Thomas Jr. and Malik Neighbors being so good at working on the outside, and his age 2.5 years older than May. May's 21, he's 23, but he's gonna be 24 at one point in the season. Drafting a 23 plus year old quarterback at the top three is kind of crazy. JD Daniels, such an elite playmaker with his legs and his arms. Washington may just want the talent here. Because if it wasn't for age, maybe Jaden Daniels would be. I don't know. I'd probably still take Drake May, but because I love Drake May. I don't think he is 1B. Like some people have him 1A, 1B with Caleb Williams, Drake May. I think he's the clear two, but he's not Zach Wilson. I see a lot of the Zach Wilson comps. Why? Because he made one cool throw, which I don't even know if it's real. I don't know if he actually made an 80-yard crossbar throw. Um, I would. His arm is really good. He has an elite accuracy. He's a really good decision maker. He if he needs to make a play with his legs, he did. He had one play where he rolled out against Clemson and threw a dot for like a 40-yard touchdown. So he could make big plays. He's not just the statue in the pocket type thing. And really the most hate comes from he didn't win. But North Carolina kind of unlike previous years did not have a talented offense. Not even close. Their offensive line wasn't good. They had no help in the backfield. Wide receiver core was okay. Tez Walker didn't even play the whole year. He obviously is a great target to have for any quarterback. But I think North Carolina, who went like what 8-5, goes 5-7 without Drake May. Now the rumor is the Cardinals need a lot, and now I've always had the Vikings trading up for here, but now I don't know if the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are every day more likely to stick and pick, and it kind of goes to the Chargers to do it. But honestly, I think also Minnesota could be a team to sell 3 first round picks for the number one pick. I think Minnesota maybe get tempted and actually fledge out 3 first round picks or the Giants. I don't think it's anybody else I would trade up for 4 to get McCarthy than the Giants because they only have to move up 2 picks and they would only be doing it to move up again ahead of Minnesota. And Minnesota, because they got the draft capital for a reason, and I think it is to trade up with either the Cardinals or the Chargers to jump the Giants. And the McCarthy's everybody has the opinions on McCarthy are crazy, like never seen before. Like some people think he's actually the number one quarterback in the draft. Some people think he's a 10th. I'm going in the middle and saying he's the fourth. That uh, his age, he's super young. He has a above average arm. He's an above average runner. He made big plays at Michigan. When he needed to make a play on third and fourth down or whenever he needed to, he made plays. I think a lot of teams may love his mentality. I can't obviously speak for like interviews and anything, but like all I know is that Penn State game when he went in as the Heisman favorite, throwing 8 passes and never complaining, and then basically taking himself as a Heisman rankings. I think that's something. That may not be something, but I think that's something. Just a willingness to win is going to get a lot of NFL teams liking that. And he goes into probably the best situation. I mean, Caleb Williams goes into a pretty good situation. Drake May and Jaden Daniels really don't. But Jaden Daniels actually did. Washington has a decent offensive line. They have Terry McLaurin, but Jahan Dotson too. But JJ is going to get Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They could draft a receiver down the board still. They have a pretty good offensive line with 2 established tackles and a really good offensive-minded head coach. And T.J. Hawkinson, too. So it's a really good situation to go in as a quarterback, too. In any situation, Joe Alt, Talisa Fuaga would be the pick. Maybe not Fuaga at 5. But honestly, for the Chargers, with Marvin Harrison here, obviously I'm going to do that, but I'm going to say something else. I think the most ideal situation is Arizona stick and pick, and the Chargers move down to 11 and then like trade up with Atlanta and take Fuaga here. That means you do like what the Cardinals did last year. You trade down, get assets, trade back up, and get the guy you want at 5. Because I think Fuaga's just a better fit for like what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. But they have nil at wide receiver. Like what Josh Palmer's your best receiver. You need receiver, so go out and get the best receiver in the draft. Giants. Neighbors have always been the pick, maybe every time. I think I've only drafted Neighbors and McCarthy here. And with the stuff like Neighbors, what he had gun possession in New Orleans on Bourbon Street or something, the charges were dropped, but a lot of concerns about him playing in major cities, which New York is a major city. So I'm going to go Rome because you have 3 elite wide receivers, 3 S-tier wide receivers. One does something and fucks up, they're going to fall, and Neighbors fucked up. So, and Rome Odunze is like a really good option too. It's not like I like Neighbors more personally. I like the burner, but Odunze elite at press break, great body control, great hands. So you're basically going for speed versus hands, and maybe the Giants need anything on wide receiver. They don't necessarily need speed. They don't necessarily. Well, they do need speed and they do need hands. They don't need anything specific though. So one mess up by Malik Neighbors and Odunze's above him. If the Titans are probably celebrating and like they won the fucking Super Bowl, if Joe Alt falls to them, he was already, I think, with just a really good 2023 season, considered the best tackle, and then he goes to the combine and tests the best out of like any other tackle. So like, yeah, I think Alt established himself as like a tier above maybe every other offensive lineman, even though it's a really deep lineman class, especially in the top of the draft near the first round. Alt has established himself as number 1. But with Neighbors there, I feel like I really like Neighbors in Tennessee, but you just got Calvin Ridley. Maybe so you're not like inclined to draft receiver as much as you were. Falcons are definitely a trade down option, but Dallas Turner is just a good fit with the 3-4, and he's so athletic, just small, like really small, like 6'3", like I don't remember how many he weighs. I should have looked that up before, but whatever. But ran a 4.46 with a 10-foot plus broad jump, 40-inch vertical as a defensive end. He will probably be the first defensive player taken, and he will probably be. I feel like him getting taken to Atlanta is just the most likely option for a defensive player to be taken, unless Atlanta trades down. Now, I did just talk about Neighbors not going to a big city. So we're gonna play in this situation that the Neighbors thing is a concern, and we're gonna draft Laiatu Latu because it seems like his medical issues are getting better, and there's a chance that he actually gets fully medical cleared. He had to retire, or did he medically retire? Oh yeah, he did, because he had a heart issue, and then comes back, transfers from Washington to UCLA. Very similar to Jalen Phillips, who medically retired because of concussions. Went from UCLA to Miami instead. But so UCLA just always involved in this. But Latu, maybe. I honestly do kind of like Dallas Turner more because of his athleticism. But Latu, as just a pure edge rusher with skill and technique, is probably the best defender in the draft. And if the medical is not a concern, he's going to be a top 10 pick. But if it is a concern, maybe not a first round pick. But it seems like it's getting better. So I'm fine with drafting him. Neighbors would be really tempting here, but I'm playing it that it gets concerned. So I'm going to go Fuaga. You don't have to play him at tackle. I mean, you have Tyron Smith, who has injury concerns. He seems like he's never healthy. Morgan Moses is old, so you're not drafting for the present, always drafting for the future, and you can put him in guard because he has shorter arms. I think his arms are fine to play tackle, but if you need to play him at guard, you can play him at guard. Pretty good in pass pro, but he's a mauler in the run game. You're getting him for your run game. And Jets need tackle. I think Fuaga is the clear number 2 now over Fashanu or Fashanu. I gotta remember how to pronounce his name now. I don't think Neighbors falls past here. Which Arizona, there's a world where Arizona drafts Neighbors over Marvin Harrison, and now you get Neighbors you trade down and get like what, probably maybe 2 first round picks too. So you get 2 first round picks and the guy you wanted. That'd be crazy for Arizona, and they still have 2 more first round picks in this draft. I love Neighbors as a player. The speed, everything. I really, really like Neighbors, but if there's off the field concerns, it's gonna push him down the board. Let's see. Not gonna draft Jared Verse here. Not gonna. Honestly, the Broncos trading down for Bo Nix, I think is an option. Corner's an option. I'm gonna go Byron Murphy. I think he's the best defensive lineman or defensive tackle, sorry, in the draft. You're probably gonna play him at 3-4 defensive end, but he could play nose if you need. Broncos run a 3-4, so it fits. Tackle, Latham. I've always just thought of Latham as a Raider. I don't know. So I'm tempted to go Latham, but I think Fashanu is too good. Pass up here. I don't know. I'm kind of already regretting not taking Latham. And I don't know why. I always take Latham here because I usually don't have Fashanu on the board at this point, but Raiders need tackle badly. Fashanu probably has a chance to be the best in this draft. It would have been a top 5 pick last year. Ends up coming back. Doesn't play as well this year, but still a really good player. Tackle again. I'm gonna go Latham here instead. Just a ton of upside. New Orleans needs tackle. Tight end is an option here, but I heard that the Colts really want Quinion Mitchell, and that the Eagles are even trying to trade up to get above him to try to draft Mitchell, which I don't know. That doesn't feel like an Eagles move to trade up for a corner. But Quinion Mitchell tested the best out of any corner. Was really good. As just a riser all year. Guy was like, oh, you watch out for Quinion Mitchell, and now he's here being like heralded as like a top 1 or 2 corner. It's either him or Arnold. Depends what you want. You want the athleticism or you want the technical skills of Arnold. I've probably, for the last 20 mock drafts I've done, 20 plus mock drafts I've done, have put Troy Fautanu in Seattle. They need offensive linemen. He's really flexible. He can play tackle or guard easily. They need a guy like that. And the Seattle fit is kind of nice. Corner edge. Well, it's Jared Versatile on the board. But Terrion Arnold is still on the board. These two really good defensive players who've fallen. They just lost Darius Williams. I'm gonna give them Arnold, who's really technically sound, probably the best just pure corner in the draft, but just didn't test amazingly. Brian Thomas is still. I've left Brian Thomas on the board. I've left a lot of people on the board. Or really just these 3 is kind of like. But they just rich get richer. Give the Bengals Brock Bowers. He can go in a lot. I think his range is 9 to 18. I don't think the Bengals would pass on him. It's just because it's the tight end is a luxury pick. I can see the Bengals even maybe trading up for Brock Bowers, but it's a luxury pick. Are you going to trade up for a tight end? I don't know. Corner, edge, Jared. Yeah, Yeah, Jared Verse, he just can't stay on the board much longer, man. Just way too good. Really athletic, really technically sound. I think he probably goes earlier than 19, but it's just how the board fallen. Now, Brian Thomas, I feel like at this point with him falling, you have to go. I probably put Jackson Powers Johnson on the Steelers for the last few, but Brian Thomas Jr. is just falling. He led the league. He led NCAA in touchdowns. And you turn on the games, LSU games. I watched a few, well, actually a lot of LSU. And every time you go in, it's like I want to watch Neighbors, and you always see Brian Thomas Jr. making plays. Just a really, really good playmaker. And if Jackson Powers Johnson, they no, they don't need guard. They do need guard. They lost Robert Hunt. Okay, yeah. They don't need center, but I guess you can kick JPJ down the guard. Just he's easily the best interior offensive lineman in the draft, and I think he probably would go to one of the Steelers or the Dolphins. Corner would make sense, obviously. I don't think they. Yeah, I'm not gonna draft them guard. Edge, they would draft edge, but I think in this situation, I'm gonna go with the athletic upside and of Nate Wiggins, who tested. Did he run the best? Did he have the best 40 time for corner? I'm pretty sure, maybe not. But he was one of the best testers at the combine. Really athletic, really good too. Was CB1 for a while in this draft process. Eagles need corner. I think they would draft edge if this right edge rusher was available, but in this situation, there's not. Um, I'm gonna go. I feel like I'm gonna not draft Johnny Newton here, even though I think Johnny Newton. I'm gonna draft Johnny Newton here. I was gonna say I'm gonna wait for him at 27. Johnny Newton, besides injury concerns, would be a top 20, top 15 pick. It's just injury concerns for him. Tackle. By the way, if you see me like debating, I do these live. I don't like to think about or have these pre-planned. I think it's just more fun to do it live and to actually think. I don't know. Amarius Mims, if he falls here, I don't think he could make it here. He's just so big and athletic. It's just, and when he played, he was really good when he played, but he started 8 games, and it's not. Is it? Yeah, he has injuries. He was playing behind Broderick Jones last year. He's just a small sample size. That's really the big knock on Mims. I feel like drafting another Iowa defender to the Packers. Oh boy, no. But it just fit. He fits so well. Like besides being like an Iowa guy in Green Bay, I know and last year I had them mocked them. I nested them. They picked him. This year I'm mocking DeJean. Maybe they'll pick him too. But gotta be the most athletic white guy ever. I meant he was the top returner in college football and one of the top corners in college football. He could move back to safety if you need. I don't think the Packers will do that though. This is definitely it. They need help on the edge. Darius Robinson is good, but Chop has so much potential. He's also really flexible to play in a 3-4 or 4-3, but it's just a potential of him. I think at this point at 26, right? Yeah, pick 26. You take the shot at the potential of Robinson. Now, this is a crazy good draft already. You got one of the best. You got a defensive lineman who falls, and you got a wide receiver who falls. Do you get another guy who falls? I don't really see another guy falling. They do need help. They still need help on the line. They still need help at wide receiver. I'm not saying I'm not going to draft a wide receiver, but get yourself some help on the offensive line. Greg Barton is flexible on the entire line. He's probably going to play guard, but if you need him to play tackle the pinch, he can. Cardinals need help on the line. They can double dip in line. If they wanted to draft a lineman at 23 and 27, they can do that. They can double dip a receiver. They need a lot of help. If you want to build around Kyler Murray, you got to get the guys. And for the Bills, you lose Stephon Diggs, you lose Gabe Davis, but Adonai Mitchell falls right in your lap. He had the second best RAS score, relative athletic score, which is just it measures your combine and how good you did in the combine and like with height, weight, everything. And he was second all time. 6'2", 200 pounds, ran a 4.33 or 4.35. I think an 11-foot broad and then 41-inch vertical. Yeah, the athleticism insane. He's going to be a great red zone target for Josh Allen. Detroit, you're going Cam Sutton just got arrested. You're gonna need help at corner. So get them help at corner with Kool-Aid McKinstry with a lot of talent and a lot of upside there. I'm at the mock draft mock draft whatever database. Suggested it. It's what I'm gonna do because Tyler Guyton, get yourself a really good tackle. Baltimore needs tackle. Ronnie Stanley's literally hurt every other second. So this is also a tackle pick, but I'm gonna go Kingsley Suamataia. Get the high upside, really raw player, but high upset. If San Francisco thinks they can develop him well, this could be a steal. And draft yourself the best wide receiver. Honestly, it's probably Ladd. Ladd was a really good wide receiver for Georgia for many years. I know Worthy has the 40 time, but I think Ladd just may be a better player. And will do it for today's mock draft. Thank you guys for watching.